Okay, so shall we get started? Name that list. Starting right now. Yeah! Name that list! Exactly. So in previous episodes, we mostly had sort of a general knowledge type of thing. This time, we're trying a theme, just like last time in the episode 4. This time, it's movies and TV. It's going to be the main focus. And this quiz is going to consist of 2 parts. Part 1 is going to be, what is this a list of? And then a part 2 of Need I Go On? Classic formats we've done before, with a bit of a twist. And I'll tell you right now, part 1 is going to be mostly focused on, well, you can see right here, actually. It's going to be kids' cartoons from the 80s and 90s, and part 2 is going to be famous movie star quotes. Those are 2 general categories. There's going to be 17 questions in total for a grand total of a potential 45 points to win. So if you'd like, you can judge yourself on how many points you get out of 45. That's a general situation. And for those of you watching on YouTube, of course, same as before, we're going to have a countdown timer so you can pause in between the sections. But we're going to be playing mostly with chat here live, so things might be a little bit sort of out of order. Sorry, that's just how it is. If you want to show up live, you got to join the Discord server and find out when the next episode is. I can't tell you an exact date because we don't keep stuff that tight around here because I suck at scheduling. Anyway, part 1. What is this a list of? Kids' cartoons from the 80s and 90s. So again, 10 questions for a grand total of 10 points. I present a list of 5 things. Contestants must guess what is a list of. For each correct answer, contestants get 1 point. I can't stop contestants... Oh wow, there's a typo there. I can't stop contestants from Googling the answer, but if they're cool, they won't use Google. If you don't like being cool, then go ahead. I can't stop you. Let's go. Question 1. Question 1. Rocksteady, Shredder, Krang, April O'Neil, and Splinter. What is this a list of? That's right, 2 people got it in chat. It is a list of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles characters. Here they are in this order. Sexual positions. Nice. But yeah, we're starting off with a very easy one, a super layup. Even I grew up with this one. I remember this is actually one of the first cartoons I ever watched as a kid. My parents somehow got bootlegged copies of VHS tapes of the original, like first couple episodes of the original TMNT from the 80s. With Russian dubs, obviously. And I used to watch them religiously. Alright, congratulations to the winners. Let's move on. Here we go. Question 2. Jazz, Ultra Magnus, Cliff Jumper, Thrust, and Wheeljack. What is this a list of? Alright, everybody got it in chat? Yep. This is another easy one to start us off. This is in fact a list of Transformers characters. Here they are, in order once again. Transformers! More than meets the eye. That's right. Yes. Moving on. The questions are going to get a lot harder moving forward. Here we go. Question 3. Streaks, Ripster, Moby Lick, Shrimp Louie, and Bad Rap. What is this a list of? Good job, Lanhart. You are correct. This is an example of Street Shark characters. Yes, here they are, the Street Sharks. So, this one's a bit hard to explain. So back in the day, back in like the 60s and 70s, there was something called regulation for American media. But then, a guy named Ronald Reagan came along, became a president of the United States of America, and said, hey, wouldn't it be better if we could just have unregulated capitalism and toy manufacturers could just advertise toys to children indiscriminately and disguise Saturday morning cartoons as just advertisements for toys? And everyone's like, yeah, cool, that sounds great. Let's just gut the FCC. And so this is what resulted in the huge explosion of 80s and 90s cartoons that basically were advertisements for children's toys disguised as, morality plays and cartoons and stuff. So yeah, like all the sort of stuff, and some of them are more better known than others, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Transformers. We know about those, but then you have this weird shit like the Street Sharks. Basically, everybody was trying to muscle in on the TMNT fame. Everyone's trying to like get that cash cow, not understanding that, of course, if they already have TMNT, why would they want your cheap knockoff? You know, that is obviously worse quality, but they tried and they tried nonetheless. This is like peak 80s right here. This is just like peak 80s. Yeah! And this is not even close. Like, I only have 10 questions here. There were dozens of these cartoons that basically copied and ripped off each other in a desperate effort to corner the market. It was like, when I say unfettered, unregulated capitalism, this is what I mean. Everybody was trying to muscle in on the market, but only the most marketable versions of this survived. Samurai Pizza Cats, yes, that's a great example. No, I think Samurai Pizza Cats was an anime. It was a Japanese product, but they were trying to corner the same market. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Moving on. Question 4. CoverGirl, Hit and Run, Ice Cream Soldier, Quick Kick, and Skidmark. What is this a list of? Looks like nobody got it in chat. This is a list of G.I. Joe characters. G.I. Joe! That's right, here they are, the G.I. Joes. Yes, I never was into G.I. Joe. Yeah, me neither, actually. I was never, yeah. I remember, like, when I was living in Massachusetts, there were some friends of mine who had some G.I. Joe action figures, but I never watched it, like, on TV as a child. That's one that I just skipped. It wasn't until many, many, many years later when the movies, the remake movies were coming out, that I finally remembered again that G.I. Joe existed. But G.I. Joe is the basis on which a fantastic YouTube series was created, the G.I. Joe PSAs. Oh, yeah. If you're familiar.
Hey, you're not my friend.
I'm just kidding with you.
Hey man, who's that weird dude you're talking to, bro? My friends are here. Oh, cool. So, see you later.
Yeah, good stuff. If you're wondering what that was, one of the very interesting sort of one of the interesting sort of concessions, I guess you could say, that the TV broadcasters had to make with the FCC. The FCC was basically like saying, like, okay, we can't stop you from just blatantly advertising toys to children, but we can give the caveat that if you do so, every single one of the episodes of your show must have some sort of a morality lesson at the end of it, just to make it seem as though we're educating the kids. That was like the one condition. And so that's why a lot of these shows would have like the main plot, and then at the end of it there'd be like a 5-minute little, make sure you look both ways before crossing the street, or, you know, it's not nice to bully other kids or whatever, you know, like, or drugs are never cool. That's why all those cartoons had those morality little tidbits at the end. It was a FCC regulation mandate, basically. That was the condition under which they were allowed to sell the toys to kids. So that's fun. Woo! But yeah, there you have it. G.I. Joe, American hero. Next question. Question 5. Fisto, Man-E-Faces, Ram Man, Cyclone, and Battle Cat, Cringer. What is this a list of? But yes, Lionheart gets it once again. By the power of Grayskull, these are He-Man and the Masters of the Universe characters. Yes, here they are. Mr. Fisto, very aptly named. Man-E-Faces with the multiple faces. I think Ram Man is cute. Honestly, I think Ram Man is adorable. Look at him. He's just a little chungus. He's just a little boy. He's just, can I ram you? It's like the Juggernaut's slightly slow nephew. Moving forward, here we go. Question 6. Throttle, Rimfire, the Loogie Brothers, Slobber the Mutt, and Exterminator. What is this a list of? Alright, looks like everybody is stumped. This is a list of Biker Mice from Mars characters. Biker Mice from Mars. Yes, the often, I guess you could say, called the redheaded stepchild of the 80s cartoon era. The Biker Mice from Mars. It says so in the title. They're biker mice, they're on Mars, stuff happens there, it's action-packed. Mutants and robots and lasers. I never watched this one, but this is often like referenced just to demonstrate just how unhinged the 80s were to a certain extent. Biker mice. Yep. They are mice, they are bikers, they're from Mars. That's all you need to know. And apparently they have antennae, because they're Martians, you see. Okay, moving on. Question 7. Bipolar Bear. Fish Boy, Lost Prince of Atlantis. The Evil Midnight Bomber, What Bombs at Midnight. Sarcastro, and Man-Eating Cow. What is this a list of? Frank Bear gets it. That's right. These are characters from the greatest cartoon of the era, The Tick. I will be accepting no discussion on this. The Tick. Yes, this was my childhood. Oh my god. Spoon! Yes! Yes! My people! My people! So for those of you who are not aware, The Tick is a satirical parody superhero show about the character of the same name. He looks like this. What? No, there we go. So it was based on a comic book initially. It was based on a comic book, but later turned into an animated series and then a bunch of live-action series that sucked ass. This is the only one that matters in the 90s cartoon. This cartoon is phenomenal. Even before superhero stuff sort of, dominated the local nerd space, these guys were satirizing the idea, featuring such amazing characters as Deflator Mouse, who is supposed to be a parody of Batman. Let's see, we got American Maid, who I believe was supposed to be sort of a rip on just female characters in general, but I guess like Wonder Woman more specifically. Chairface, my favorite. Yes! Chairface. Chip and Dale, yes! An actually very menacing villain, mind you. A guy who's got a chair for a face. No explanation. That's it. He's just got a chair for a face. Deal with it. That's the kind of show this was, and for that reason, it's just got such crisp writing, such amazing world building. Really, it's just top tier comedy. One of my personal favorite villains was the Evil Midnight Bomber, What Bombs at Midnight. Oh my god, what an amazing... And of course, who can forget Sarcastro, with the wonderful power of sarcasm. Yeah, like that's gonna be useful in a combat scenario. Hey! And of course, who can forget Bipolar Bear? He only shows up in like 2 episodes, I think. Both times as a gag. Like he's gonna there's like a beacon to summon all the superheroes to call for help, and he's about to do it, but then he hits a depressive phase and he stays at home instead. And we support that decision. Self-care is important. So if you haven't seen this show, I highly recommend it. Get some edibles, get some weed or something, chillax. You're gonna have a good time. You're gonna have a good time. It's a great show. I highly recommend it. Just, top tier comedy. This is my shit, man. This is, love it. Love it. Loves it. I loves it. All right. Very nice. Okay, moving on from, I hate to move on from this one. I really hate to move on, but we have to. We gotta do it. Next question. Question 8. Ma-T, Duke Nukem, Wheeler, Verminous Scum, and Hoggish Greedley. What is this a list of? But those of you who were here for episode 3 should have already gotten this, because this is actually kind of a repeat. Some of these characters have already been introduced. These are in fact characters from Captain Planet. Captain Planet, he's our hero. Gonna take pollution down to 0. Yes, Captain Planet. The greatest environmentalist captain. Of all of the 80s cartoons of that era, this was, I think, the only one that had a proper conscience. I believe, what was the name of the guy? Ted Turner, that's the one, Ted Turner. Founded by Ted Turner, this guy. who I believe is like a entrepreneur and philanthropist. And his basic idea was like he saw so many cartoons that were glorifying, you know, violence and fighting and stuff like that, and he thought, well, if those cartoons have the power to sell toys, maybe these cartoons have the power to teach kids about environmentalism. And that's exactly what this show was about. Every single villain is a representative of some aspect of, like, you know, greed and capitalism, pollution. They also had Duke Nukem, for example, is supposed to be criticizing nuclear energy, which was a bit of a hit and miss, but, you know, generally it was okay. Also, I love the fact that the American character from the Planeteers is named Wheeler. That's so 80s. Wheeler. That's his first name. And of course, Ma-Ti. Which, by the way, everyone talks about how, like when we were growing up as kids, watching this show, so there's 5 Planeteers, and each one of them has a ring that gives them a special power of, like, the 5 elements of Mother Gaia, the Earth Mother. And there's, like, the 4 Aristotelian ones, like Earth, Wind, Fire, and Water. And the 5th one is Heart, used by Ma-Ti over there in the top left corner. And everyone growing up as kids thought they don't want Heart. Heart's a useless power. Ugh, it's not cool. I want, like, fire or water or earth or whatever. But, like, as adults, we all understand the Heart Ring gave Ma-Ti the power to influence the minds of animals and people. It's literally mind control. That's the only power that matters. Oh, cool, you can shoot fireballs. Yeah, I can command your mind to shoot those fireballs at whoever I choose. It's like... Ma-Ti was secretly OP the whole time. He's the slept-on villain of the series. We're coming up on the end here. Question 9. Buggyman, Jeeper Creeper, Psycho, Turbo, and Dumper. What is this a list of? This is actually a list of characters from GoBots. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, haven't we seen this one before? You might be thinking of Transformers. And a lot of people assume that GoBots is a cheap Transformers knockoff. They're actually incorrect. GoBots was released 1 year before Transformers. Technically, Transformers is a knockoff of GoBots. But partially because of much better writing and better market appeal, and just better marketing in general, Transformers overtook GoBots and they were discontinued after a few seasons. And it's really hard to say whether or not Transformers technically ripped off GoBots, because the production cycle would definitely be much longer than just a year. It was probably more a situation of, like, convergent... What's it called? Convergent development? Is that what it's called? When, like, 2 different groups invent the same idea at the same time. What is that called, actually? Hold on, let me look it up. Multiple discovery? Is that what it's called? Or simultaneous invention? No, yeah, one of those terms. Basically, yeah, I think like, the idea of transforming robots as a gimmick to sell toys was just an idea that, like, a lot of different groups might have come up with, and these 2 different animation studios came up with the same thing. And GoBots got there first, but unfortunately could not retain the dominant title. Transformers took them over, and there you have it. A little bit of history there for you. This is the one that I grew up with. That's the thing. I never actually watched Transformers as a kid, but I watched GoBots as a kid because those were the VHS tapes that my parents managed to bootleg off of somebody, with Russian dubs, of course. So I actually grew up on these characters as opposed to Transformers. I got the cheap knockoff version. So when I discovered Transformers, I was like, who? What? All I know is GoBots. It's like, this seems like a GoBots knockoff to me. I did not know how right I was. Last question for this section here. Question 10. Funshine, Love-A-Lot, Birthday, Tender Heart, and Grumpy. What is this a list of? Once again, Lionheart clenching it for chat. This is in fact a list of Care Bear characters. Yes, these are the Care Bears. So yeah, so these 80s cartoons tended to go into some broad categories. We saw a few of these ideas. So for example, like mutant animals, that's one category. Transforming mechanical things, that was another. And of course, there was the plushie market, which was mostly focused at younger audiences. We're talking, toddlers and very, very young children. Care Bears was the de facto leader of this particular movement. But there were some competitors, Rainbow Bright, the Gummy Bears. There was a bunch of like other competing. My Little Pony was also in that space as well, although they weren't doing plushies so much as plastic pony toys, but it was the same sort of idea. Matter of fact, I probably should have added My Little Pony. Honestly, I could have made maybe like 30 of these, and that wouldn't have been the most exhaustive list of these kinds of cartoons. But yes, Care Bears, yes. Next up, we got part 2. Need I go on? Movie star quotes questions. So in this category, I present a list to you of 5 things, but only one at a time. At every level, contestants can guess the answer once or pass. If all contestants pass, the next level is revealed. Guessing correctly at the first level earns 5 points, reduced by 1 for each level passed after the first. So 5 points at level 1, 4 at level 2, 3 at level 3, etc., etc. With each new level, with each new clue you're given, there's fewer points, but of course, it should make the question easier to answer. So yeah, so there's 7 questions with a potential of 35 points you can get for this one if you answer all of them from the very first one, but I gotta warn you, it's gonna be pretty tough. So, this one, I'll give you sort of a brief explanation. In the late 90s and early 2000s, some particular movie stars rose to prominence on the backs of just the weird shit that they got to say throughout their careers. We don't really get that today because the market has really changed in terms of the way that Hollywood makes movies. Now it's more about like the visual spectacle and about like the continuity and stuff. There are some memorable lines here and there, but we don't really have those like powerhouse movie stars that we used to, I think. And that's natural, like markets change all the time, you know, fair dues or whatever. But I just wanted to sort of pay an homage to that bygone era of absolutely batshit insane sayings said by absolutely prolific movie stars. All right, let's do it. 7 questions, starting with question 1. Find chariot, but where are the horses? What is this a list of? Level 2. Put that cookie down! Moving on, level 3. 3 points. Here's your Sub-Zero. Now plain zero. Okay, level 4. Dylan, you son of a bitch. And of course, level 5. I'll be back. Yes, indeed, this is a list of Arnold Schwarzenegger quotes. Yes, from all of these amazing films. Hercules in New York was one of his early ones. I think it was like before Conan, if I'm not mistaken, or like somewhere around that era, the very, very early one. Put That Cookie Down, of course, from Jingle All the Way, the Christmas movie. Sub-Zero, Now Plain Zero, from The Running Man. Dylan, you son of a bitch, from Predator, when he has that amazing arm clasp with oh, what's his name? The actor. Oh my god, the guy who was in Arrested Development. Oh, anyway, whatever I say, was a good guy. And of course, I'll be back from the Terminator. By the way, Put That Cookie Down, a prolific line, also the progenitor of one of my favorite songs of all time.
Put that cookie down, cook it down, put that cookie down now.
What's the guy's name? Carl Weathers, that's the one. Carl Weathers, yes. The very handsome Carl Weathers, who gets his both of his arms blown off in the Predator movie. Okay. Moving on. Next question. Question 2. Everyone knows that when you make an assumption, you make an ass out of you and umption. What is this a list of? Moving on. Level 2. You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master. Level 3. Where is my supersuit? Level 4. English, motherfucker, do you speak it? And of course, level 5. I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. Yes, 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 indeed. This is Comedy Gold, brought to you by Samuel L. Jackson from these wonderful films. Yes. The first one comes from The Long Kiss Goodnight, which I haven't seen personally, but I hear is pretty good. From his pretty early career. Of course, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. One of his more tempered performances. Where is my super suit? An amazing line from The Incredibles when he played Frozone. And of course, Pulp Fiction and Snakes on a Plane. Some of the films that I think he's most arguably well known for. Yes. I have had it with these. What was the clean line?
I have had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
These monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane. Very nice. Way to clean it up for the kids. God, I can just imagine the indignity, you know? Like, this really feels like I can like see it in my head that like Samuel L. Jackson, they finish shooting, they finish post-production, the movie's out there. 2 months later, he gets a call from his agent, like, listen, Samuel, great job on Snakes on a Plane. They want to bring you back though to do some ADR, some revised lines. Why? Is this some like audio quality issue? Nah, it's for the TV edit, and they want to clean up your language. So pretty much every time you say motherfucker, we need to come up with a different phrase for it. You motherfucker. All right, moving on. Question 3. I hold myself in contempt. Why should you be any different? What is this a list of? All right, moving on. Level 2. Level 2. You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? Level 3. They call me Cuban Pete. I'm the king of the rumba beat. Level 4. Somebody stop me. And of course, level 5. Alrighty then. Yes. We all got it. It is, of course, the late, great Jim Carrey. Why did I say late? He's still alive. The great Jim Carrey. Absolute legend from these films right there. Yes, that first line was in fact from Liar Liar. Still, I think, my favorite Jim Carrey comedy, at the very least. I actually really enjoyed Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, but it's not really a comedy, so that doesn't quite count. Although, actually, I rewatched The Mask recently, and I gotta say, it definitely holds up better than I expected. I remember, like, one of my main criticisms I used to have for Jim Carrey, especially in his early career, was that for a lot of those films, he really just played himself, you know? Like his character just so happened to be the exact kooky kind of character that he did for his stand-up specials. But if you actually look at The Mask, he does quite a bit of character work in there. He really encompasses the static sort of almost like statuesque nature of the Mask character from the comics. Like, he really encapsulates the cartoon nature of it, which like, yes, it's definitely Jim Carrey, but it is Jim Carrey. I genuinely feel like he's being possessed by the trickster god of Loki, which makes sense because other characters in that movie also then personify their own version of that character, including like the bad guy and the dog and stuff. So yeah, it actually straight up holds up. I think it's like one of these sort of underrated classics of Jim Carrey's early career. But Liar Liar, ooh, there's some lines in there, some comedy gold. Oh my god. Moving on. Question 4. Less talky, more ping pong. What is this a list of? Level 2. Think about it. You skipped a year. That's a lot of sex. That's like 30 minutes worth for you. Level 3. When you're in love, she can tell you that Gandhi ate hot dogs and you'll believe her. Level 4. I hid this uncomfortable hunk of metal up my ass 2 years. And of course, level 5. Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell. Yes, yes indeed, this is a list of quotes by the great Christopher Walken, in my opinion, one of the underrated classics of the late 90s and early 2000s era. Like, everyone knows their Arnolds and their Jim Carreys. Christopher Walken, he, first of all, has been in some phenomenal films, delivered some amazing performances, but also is just an absolutely charismatic actor. Every time he's in a movie, I'm loving it. No matter what it is. Good, bad, you know, whatever. The man just oozes charisma. He's just got the certain, like, and the way he talks, it's hard to replicate. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. And yes, I know that the last quote is not from an actual film. It's from the SNL skit More Cowbell. I had to put it in there because it's the thing that he's known for. Gotta have that cowbell. Gotta have that cowbell. Moving on. Question 5. I am Superman. What is this a list of? Level 2. I'm going to kill you with my teacup. Level 3. I don't have friends. I got family. Level 4. I live my life a quarter mile at a time. And of course, level 5. I am Groot. Yes, these are quotes by the somewhat underrated Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel. He seems like a generally nice guy, although his acting definitely leaves something to be desired sometimes. But yes, he was the Iron Giant in The Iron Giant. I'm Gonna Kill You With My Teacup is from the Chronicles of Riddick, the second movie in the Riddick series. That's actually one of the things that is very little known about Vin Diesel, is that he actually gets a lot of work done through voice acting, which is actually one of the ways that a lot of big-name actors make supplementary income, of course. It's a way for them to diversify their sort of acting range as well. The most notable example is Mark Hamill, who is best known as Luke Skywalker, but he's also known in the animation sphere as the voice of the Joker in multiple of the Batman series. Does a phenomenal Joker voice. And I think, like, in very many respects, he sort of sets the standard for what the Joker needs to sound like for subsequent voice actors to take in future animation projects for the Batman. Yeah. 2 more questions to go. We're coming up on the end here. Question 6. You know, you'd be surprised how a nice pair of edible panties can make you feel sexy. What is this a list of? Level 2. So I need you to take your fat, Shrek-looking ass back to your vehicle and drive the fuck home to Fiona. Level 3. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm allergic to bullshit. Level 4. Here we go. You know what the difference is between you and me? I make this look good. Level 5. Welcome to Earth. No points for chat. This is a list of Will Smith quotes. It's Will Smith. So the first one's from Enemy of the State. Yeah, the second one's actually from Bright, which was a movie that I think most people forgot, but it came out about, I think, 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I think, like, Will Smith just doesn't seem like the kind of actor who would have these sort of memorable roles and these memorable lines. He said some crazy things in his movies. He said some, like, outrageous things. Yeah. This isn't even half of it, but yeah. Question 7. I want room service. I want the club sandwich. I want the cold Mexican beer. I want the 10,000 a night hooker. What is this a list of? Level 2. People keep asking me if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer, but yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. Level 3. Party on, dudes! Level 4. Level 4. I know Kung Fu. And of course, level 5. Whoa. Yes, indeed, this is a list of quotes by the great Keanu Reeves. And there you have it from all the wonderful films. For some reason, I was thinking Wayne's World from level 3. I'm pretty sure that Mike Myers probably said "dude" a lot in Wayne's World. That's a reasonable guess. That's a reasonable guess. But yeah, so that first line is actually from a movie that he did before he blew up on The Matrix called Johnny Mnemonic, which has a very similar theme. It's like in the dystopian future, and a company makes like a virtual reality headset that you put on, and this guy kind of goes... Keanu Reeves plays a guy who goes crazy off of the VR headset and kind of like goes insane and stuff. But yeah. The second line is from John Wick, where he's talking about like coming back to the Assassin's world. Party on, dudes, classic Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure. And of course, I know Kung Fu and Whoa from The Matrix, the first one, the only good one. Yeah, pretty much. Keanu Reeves. Again, just amazing lines overall. Just a phenomenal... He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, you know? Nice fellow. Well, there you have it. That's our quiz for today. Thank you so much for playing. I hope you scored well. I guess you can tell me in the comments how you scored. That's up to you entirely. This is the movies and TV portion of Name That List. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like this content, and I'll see you next time on Name That List.